So today we're going to be checking out something that, well, I think you're going to be interested to hear this because this is James. James has been to Japan a lot. Helped me set up this channel years ago. And, well, you play a lot of Japanese music in your shop at home in the UK.
Yeah, or through video and through speakers. I don't play it myself.
It just sits there just like sort of covering music whilst customers come in. Now, when we go around the shopping centre near to here, the Marui, there's a lot of signs and everything seems to be sponsored by one group, one band who seem to have posters everywhere. Do you remember the name of that band? Mrs.
Oh, crikey, yeah. Mrs. Green Apple.
That's it.
That's the one. It's been around for a long time.
Yeah, they've been around for a while. I was surprised.
It used to be Mr. Children. Now it's Mrs. Green Apple.
That's true, actually. I didn't even...
Mr. Children used to be everywhere.
Mr. Children and Mrs. Green Apple should get together.
Green Apple, they should. Yeah, they should have...
The Offspring.
The Offspring. Yeah, they should have the Green Apple Children.
The Green Apple Children. Oh, wow. That's I never made that connection before. Maybe Kinky Kids. Maybe Kinky Kids. By the way, Kinky, K-I-N-K-I. It's a region of Japan.
Yeah,
Don't.
Yeah.
Right. So... But today we're going to be checking out Mrs. Green Apple. Now, as you mentioned, they've been around for a while. I didn't realise until I started looking through their videos, it's like over 10 years they've been around now. Like a freaking long time.
Well, let's see what the fuss is about.
So I picked this song. It's one I've done a reaction to before. It's called Ao Tonatsu, which is basically blue in the summer. I kind of thought this was... If I was going to play someone a Mrs. Green Apple song, this is the one I'd go for. So I'm kind of... I can see there's a you're giggling with... Like, is that a sense of... Like, okay, let's see what this is about.
Let's see what their mystical power is.
Do you think the bar is set very high now? We see them so much around here. Like, everywhere you go around here. I mean, James is staying with me, but... it's true, like, not just here, but anywhere around Tokyo and Japan, you just see them everywhere. Convenience stores, posters, signs. They are the big deal. Shall we?
Okay, let's see what Mrs. Green Apple... Will I be a Mr. Green Apple by the end of this?
I feel like you're like in judgment mode, ready. It's like, impress me. Let's go. Oh yeah, this one's got a bit of a dramatic opening. I forgot about that.
Oh, I see.
ずっと君を見てた。
叶わなかった。
昨日までの当たり前が。
一瞬で壊れることを知った。
That knife was
誰かが
not
誰か
sharp
を思
enough.
うように。
It didn't. It sort of tried taking the katsu with it when it was...
友達がいた。
誰に
That's
も
true,
取
it
られ
didn't
たく
really
ない。
cut, did it?
私はこの世界で
Mrs. Dull katsu.
脇役なんだと知って。
どれだけ本気でやったってどうにもならないことを知った。
This is dramatic.
It
僕
is
らの
dramatic.
夏の物語だ。
What's he worried about? So is the drummer Mrs. Green Apple? Is this the actual... Is this just the band? Is this the actual band?
Yeah.
Or is this one of those... Oh, okay. Well, they look too young to have been playing for 10 years.
No, there's actors and a band.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was thinking. Like, because you've got the band. Is the band being... People that are playing the instruments in this video, are they the actual band? Or are they...
Work it out at the end.
Remember what you saw? It is a movie. It's got callbacks and everything and mysteries. How old is this track?
Probably about 3 or 4 years old now. 7 years old. Little use of sound effects in there as well.
Feels like the video is so well produced that it's a distraction from the song. It's like, when you hear this song, think of this video.
It is true though, it's like, it looks like a TV movie, doesn't it?
It pretty much is.
Yeah.
I have seen some ridiculous music videos recently though, where it's whole narrative. Of course, our videos are narrative,
But this has so many narratives in this music video. But as per the title, it's just kind of about like summer, you know, different people summer stories.
Interesting as a person from the West that their summer involves going to school, whereas most of us in the West, we don't have to go to school during the summer.
You recognise the location,
It kind of looks familiar, but I wouldn't presume to know where it is. It looks very familiar, but
we have been there.
It's not that big slope around Ultralamisa, is it?
No.
It looks too far out. Is it that little island we went to where the other movie was filmed? That we went to a ramen shop?
Very well done. It's in Mira.
Nakashira?
Enoshima's a different island.
Enoshima's one of them.
Jogashima.
I suppose it's a nice enough looking place. That's the filming place.
I think the ability they have to convey like a genuine sense of real emotion through what is kind of sonically a fairly familiar sounding J-pop selection sound.
I think I suppose the most commercially successful stuff has got to have very wide appeal.
But it's like it is a broad palette of sounds, but it's like how you write the song. You can write something generic in any sound. You can also write something interesting in any sound. How you use the colours on your palette. Stuff. So much stuff.
Of course.
Okay, in all seriousness, that's so we talked a lot about the video. I think he says in that scene. I have to be honest, I think that this is a really great example of just how to do a pop rock song which conveys a lot of emotion. I mean, we got those sounds like, the contemporary sounds, the guitar, the bass, the drums, the piano. It's a familiar sound in a lot of ways, but I do feel like musically it actually feels like there's more emotion behind this than a lot of other things in a similar palette would be the way I would assess that. What do you think?
Well, you can manufacture emotion quite easily. I mean, how old are Mrs. Green Apple? Do they really remember what it's like going to school and having a school summer, or were their school summers really all that emotional or exciting?
I think
or
you're probably reading a little bit too much from
like,
the video.
It's like how Korn continue to write songs about being bullied in school, even though they're in their 50s.
Yeah, but I think the difference is when you listen to something like Korn, it seems phoned in. It doesn't feel real. It just feels like, we're being loud for the sake of it. I mean, you never know how real.
This might be phoned in, being emotional for the and nostalgic for the.
But you could argue that anything could feel phoned in.
Exactly.
If
you could, yeah.
So yeah, but that's the question: is does it feel phoned in to you? Because to me, I would say like, yeah, I think it actually seems more real than most of that stuff.
It's good if it comes across that way. Brilliant.
You don't sound convinced.
If it was their aim to do so, then double brilliant. That's.
But the problem, yeah, I mean,
make a connection. It's like when I don't know, an artist who's famously been happily married for a very, very, very long time still sings and writes new songs about loving someone from far away or whatever, or fancying a girl or whatever, and you're like, you've been in a relationship for like 20 years, what are you doing?
I feel the problem is that like I feel like maybe you're doing it totally from the video then, because I mean I don't think the song is about being a child.
It depends what so I don't know the lyrics. I don't understand them. I can't understand the Japanese. I'm getting the narrative from the video.
Do you get any feeling from any song if you don't understand the lyrics, or is it the lyrics?
Depends
really
on the Yeah, it depends on the intonation, I suppose.
So that's
Or
kind of
if
where
or
would
if I've
approach
been given the translation, I suppose.
So that's where I would approach from. I would approach it from the fact that the song musically feels
Yeah,
like
because
it's
of course, not knowing the language, musically, all I'm hearing from the lyrics is cadences. So, so I've got to get is like, oh, joyous and victorious and happy dappy, something like that, and yes, I can't really get any more depth out of the lyrics than just the cadences, and if I don't understand it.
So, well, that kind of so how well, I mean, for me, I would say that you can like review a song and you can just say it feels like it comes
Yeah,
across
exactly.
right.
Yeah, you can get like an emotion ish from the, from the say from the intonation, I suppose.
And that's what I'm trying to get to do. So, like, how did you feel like it? Did it just come across like another sort of J-pop song to you?
Yeah,
Just so you didn't,
one that does sound like it would be commercially viable. You can put it in trailers, you can put it on adverts, you can put it on the radio, etc. Yeah.
So what?
Very safe, very safe.
What aspects about it specifically do you think kind of sounded more normal then? Because like I guess I'm trying to.
It was consistent. It didn't have any solos, like any sort of big complicated, as I call them, the twiddly diddlies.
Yeah.
Didn't have no twiddly diddlies. Didn't have any background noises that were particularly different apart from that one dropping sound effect. Everything else was kind of normal and kind of everything else in there was because that's a good thing to use in adverts and stuff. You can always use that for adverts and trailers and stuff. It works so much. It's very commercially you can advantageous, I suppose. Yeah, it's exploitable. It's quite an exploitable noise to put in a musical song for commercial effect.
So I think,
but it's not complicated. It's very steady. Like the keyboard and the guitar and the vocals, they all run a nice even kilter. So that makes it so good background noise because you don't get any surprises. It's on the radio. There's drones on the whole way through the same level, and then suddenly you go, oh, okay, crikey, I wasn't expecting that. But yeah.
I think so. One thing I like, because obviously in the Discord, linked below, we talk a lot, people with really different tastes in music talk a lot about what we think about things. And often I find that there's kind of three levels of, I say not three levels of analysis, but three areas of analysis that people tend to talk about. And I think this is where I'm kind of intrigued about what you're saying, because obviously a lot of people go for the lyrics. Now, as a general, even like it doesn't really matter what the language is, so long as the lyrics are not super offensive, I tend not to pay a lot of attention. Sometimes you will get bands who've got really interesting lyrics and you do pay attention, but as a general, my baseline expectation is that I don't really care about the lyrics unless there's something really wonderful or something really bad, because as a general, most lyrics fall into a fairly safe space. So the two areas that you look at is one, like the sound palette sonically, is it like some songs obviously they're going to be more aggressive, so they're going to use more harsh sounds. Some are going to, like you say, be in a pop space like this where again pianos, guitars, fairly high registered vocals, all familiar. And then the other level is what's actually being written, like chord patterns, melodies, how the bass counters against the guitar. I've said before, one of my biggest problems with Western music is I don't like the fact the bass always follows the guitar around like a lost puppy just playing the same notes. So for me, one of the things that I think makes this interesting, and I feel like this may be an area where I get a little bit more caught up in it and other people maybe don't pay as much interest, is that I listen to it musically and I'm hearing things like the development of the chord pattern and everything, and I'm feeling like rather than just repeating and sort of going, here's an emotional chord, here's an emotional chord, I feel like it takes you on this bit more of a journey. And kind of like when you listen to classical music, and most classical music, if you listen to a symphony, it's all largely the same instruments, but they can convey huge amounts of different emotions just in the way the notes are spaced and what chord follows what chord, and the way that the counter melodies. And it's weird because it all sounds so technical.
It's those
and
older,
it can build that up.
It's those older things that sort of develop our music language. Really, it's these older progenitors that give us our baser understanding of language and music in those terms anyway, to be fair. So which chords give you which feelings, what evokes what season or emotion and everything.
I think what chords evoke which feeling, I think that's something much more basic in that if you only think about like an octave, it's basically a sound wave that fits twice within the other one. So a chord that feels comfortable to our ears is one where the sound waves all nicely divide amongst each other, but one which has an uneasy feeling is where you've got maybe a note in there that doesn't have quite a good fitting, and so the sound waves. Yeah, it's actually, there's a good scientific basis behind why certain chords feel uneasy. And yeah, like you say,
why dissonance does that.
Yeah, sort of a dissonance within the chord shape. So I do feel like just in producing like well-written, well-developed chords and melodies, you get that. And I guess that's the thing which when I'm listening to stuff like Western J-pop, and especially with what I'm hearing from a song like this, I feel like emotionally it's a very simple melody, but everything about that and the chords underneath, it actually feels like it's got proper emotion rather than just a phoned in ballad. But you kind of I get the feeling from what you're saying that it kind of felt like something you've heard before, didn't really feel like it was doing that more than anything different.
I think it is very middle of the road. I think it's very commercially thought out. I think they know it's going to be commercially very good. Yeah, because you never know what happens in as we talked about the studio the other day. You say it's probably not a place where the record company meddles too much in this country. I mean, we've got this like outdated, sort of feeling, or what's the word I'm thinking of? Predisposition, I suppose, of the record companies coming in and saying, "Oh, do this, do that, do less of that, do this," but they might still have a word in it and go, "Look, we can't sell this. If you do it like this, we can sell it."
That's so often an executive producer, the person who funds is the money man behind a recording project, will be able to step in and go, "Look, this is not really what we thought we were paying for," and that can happen. But it's again, that tends not to be such a big thing. I think that's where the meddling can happen. In this particular case, I don't know what the deal was at this point in their career. They were still relatively new, but they've been around for a couple of years at that point when they recorded this. Yeah, I think it's difficult because when you hear something commercial, it's really easy to say it's commercial, thus commercial was the goal. But a lot like when you get a band who changes from maybe their earlier sound being a little bit more raw to a more commercial sound, people will often then say that's selling out. And I would say it could be, or it could be that they just really wanted to do something more commercial and now they have the facility to do it. So when I hear something like this, I wonder, is it commercial because that's the goal, or is it commercial just because that's the sound that was popular and they want to do that sound that's popular because they like it and that's what they got into music for?
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing wrong with wanting to do that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. But obviously, even with something that sound commercial, does it click with you is always going to be a separate issue. So
exactly.
There you go. I actually found this to be quite an interesting conversation, to be honest with you. So, as always, guys, remember, conversationally, I'm really interested in what you say in the comments. Discord as well, we talk about this a lot, but this is a fascinating one. When you hear music which has kind of like a commercial sound, it sounds familiar, does that to you kind of, I say, sap a little bit of the feeling that it can be more emotionally resonant out? Does that change the way you look at it? Does it maybe give you a predisposition? Can you give it good examples of something that sounds sonically very familiar, but to you feels like it has more emotional resonance, and not just through the lyrics, but just through the way it's written? As I say, that's maybe how I'd look at this, but fascinating idea.
Songs played at weddings.
Yeah, I think this would definitely fit into that category, wouldn't it? Songs played at weddings. Summertime is happy, we are married. Yeah, so guys, get in the comments, tell us what you think, and we're going to go over to the Maui shopping mall, and you can stare at that picture now and go, I know what I think of that. Until we hopefully see you very soon in the next one of these videos. For now, ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.